Well, Matt Holland alongside me here at Stamford Bridge. Matt, let's take a check on the teams. As I mentioned, 10 changes for Chelsea. Kemper Arrizabalaga keeping his place. Plenty of conjecture as to how Chelsea are going to line up in terms of formation. Our best guess is that it is going to be a back three, which Thomas Tuchel has fielded all season, in which case it will be James at centre-half alongside Chalobah and Sarr, Hudson-Odoi and Chilwell at wing-back, Conte and Sowell in the heart of midfield, and Ziyech and Loftus-Cheek in support of Timo Werner.
Probably makes the most sense, I think, bearing in mind that that's the way he wants to play, and tactically that's the way he's set his team up all season. But there is the chance that he goes to a back four. He has done it before, not very often, but he has done it before here at Chelsea. He could play Reece James at right back, Ben Chilwell at left back, Chalobah and Sarr at centre half, Ziyech on the right, Hudson-Odoi on the left, Loftus-Cheek in behind Timo Werner. That's a possibility. I think the likelihood is that it will be a back three, but we'll see in 3 or 4 minutes' time.
The Chelsea bench tonight: Thiago Silva, Lukaku, Barkley, Mount, Havertz, and Xavier Mbiama, who's a 19-year-old Dutch centre-half, and Bettinelli is the substitute goalkeeper. Now for Villa, 9 changes on the side that beat Everton. Matty Cash retains his place, so too Axel Tuanzebe. Jed Steers in goal. Cash, Tuanzebe, Konsa and Young. Nakamba anchoring the midfield. Traore, the former Chelsea man, on the right. Anwar El Ghazi on the left. Morgan Sanson back for the first time since his knee injury in early April, alongside the returning Emi Buendia. And Cameron Archer up front.
Yeah, decent side, isn't it? Again, when he came here, Dean Smith, a couple of weeks back, he played a back three, and they looked very impressive. They've stuck with it for a couple of games, but it does look like he's reverted back to a four. I mean, look, I talked about Chelsea's strength and depth. Look at this Aston Villa team as well. Players that didn't play at the weekend: Buendia, El Ghazi, Traore into the team. Ashley Young, vast experience, played at the highest level. It's still a very strong side that Dean Smith can pick.
And the bench for the Villa: Konsa, Philogene Bidace, back from injury, the Chukwuemeka brothers, Bakada, Aaron Ramsey, and their substitute goalkeeper is the Finn Viliami Sinisalo. Well, if you can claim to have been one of the very best footballers of their generation and beyond, before kick-off we're going to pause to remember one who can. Jimmy Greaves made his Chelsea debut as a 17-year-old, scoring at Tottenham. Such a prolific striker that he moved to Milan, having scored 134 goals in 169 Chelsea games, and 121 of those came before his 21st birthday. A brief spell in Italy, followed by 8.5 record-breaking years at Spurs. By the time he ended his pro career with West Ham, he scored more goals in the English top flight than anyone before or since, not to mention 44 for England. To many who missed his footballing exploits, he'll be remembered as a fine, effortless, amusing broadcaster. Stamford Bridge remembers Jimmy Greaves. Well, Jimmy Greaves' tributes have been heartfelt, length and breadth of the country over the last 4 or 5 days, but very much here. A picture of a fresh-faced young striker appeared on the big screen. And what a player he was. Tonight his old club taking on Aston Villa. Chelsea in royal blue shirts and shorts, white socks. Villa claret and blue shirts, white shorts, and they're kicking from left to right. The Villa fans that have made their way down from Birmingham away to our left at the shed end of the ground. And before kick-off, players from both teams take the knee, universally take the knee, to almost universal applause. So we're underway. This one of 6 ties taking place tonight to wrap up the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. And a long ball played forward from the very start by Matt Cash, straight out of play. for a goal kick, which will be taken by Kepa Arrizabalaga for Chelsea. Alongside me, Jim Proudfoot here at Stamford Bridge tonight is the former Republic of Ireland international midfielder Matt Holland.
A lot of talk whether Chelsea will go with a back four or whether it be a back three. It does appear to be a back three. Reece James on the right hand side of that three. It makes sense that that's the way that Thomas Tuchel has gone. It's the way he prefers to play with the personnel that he's got. Tactically it's worked brilliantly for them, so why change it?
But interesting in doing that Saul has got a very advanced role, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who's in possession now for Chelsea, is alongside N'Golo Conte, not too far ahead of the back three in these early stages. Chelsea pump it forward, Cash going to head it away. Good header by Malang Sarr, good first touch for him in a Chelsea shirt, but mopped up at the back by Courtney Horse, and Ashley Young has played in the final of this competition in the past, and his first spell with Villa goes all the way back to his goalkeeper, Jed Steer.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago when these two teams played, it was noticeable that Chelsea got outnumbered in the middle of the pitch. And I think when I look at the way he's set his team up tonight, Thomas Tuchel, he's very wary of that and doesn't want the same thing to occur. So they look very narrow, and they look like they're trying to get bodies in the middle of the field where Aston Villa are strong, or he expected them to be strong anyway, and playing three in there.
Yeah, Villa sprang a surprise that day, bringing Tyrone Mings back into the team, and they played with a back three, but Villa reverting, as we mentioned, to a back four tonight. Here is Sarr playing it down to the left for Saul, who's playing his second Chelsea game this evening. Ball headed down then by Axel Tuanzebe. Chelsea able to pick it up, a little bit scrappy in the early stage. That's a lovely turn by Chilwell. Just turned away from Bertrand Traoré and wins the throw despite any Buendia's claims. And those of Dean Smith, who had the perfect view that it should have been an Aston Villa put-in. They played best part of 20 minutes on the south coast. Brighton against Swansea is 0-0. Goalless everywhere in the 7:45 kickoffs, and a reminder that at Old Trafford tonight, Manchester United against West Ham for the second time in 4 days, and that one is live for you right now over on TalkSport. If you've got the TalkSport app, you can flick easily between this game and that. And Sam Matterface and Andy Townsend calling the action for you in Manchester this evening. Now here's Ben Chilwell in the West End of London, playing the ball forward towards halfway, and then turning, laying it back for Sarr, who makes his Chelsea debut 391 days after signing for the club. Kepa Arrizabalaga lays it out to the right-hand side for Reece James, who in the turning away from El Ghazi was pulled back by the Dutchman. It's a free kick, which Chelsea will take inside their own half. 0-0 after a pretty sterile opening 2 or 3 minutes, both sides just feeling each other out so far.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how Chelsea have lined up in the middle of the pitch, with Loftus-Cheek slightly deeper than Saul. We anticipated it being the other way round. Loftus-Cheek playing as a number 10, maybe a little bit closer to Timo Werner, but Saul's got that job, playing high on the pitch. When he was at Atletico Madrid, he felt he was more than just a defensive midfielder, wanted to play higher up. He's got the opportunity tonight.
At times, when he was there, he was playing at left back, which certainly didn't go down very well with him. But he's started off drifting into pockets almost on the left as an inside left, really, just off Timo Werner's left shoulder. Ball's out of play for a throw that will be taken by Cash on the Aston Villa right. Matty Cash, who is soon to be a Polish international. He's about to declare for Poland, which is the country of his mum's birth. Here's Sarr, Buendia, able to bring the ball over the halfway line. Chalobah's in strongly and was fouled. The referee waited to see if any play was going to develop Villa's way. It didn't, and so they have a free kick on halfway, which Buendia, back on his feet, is taken quickly to find Young. Played out to the Aston Villa left for El Ghazi. El Ghazi bringing it forward towards the edge of the penalty area, looking for Archer. Buendia with a lovely turn, but he couldn't get away from Loftus-Cheek, whose challenge is applauded. And now Chelsea will look long for Timo Werner, but too much on it, and it'll roll through for Jed Steer away to our left-hand side. 5 gone here on TalkSport 2. It's Chelsea 0, Villa 0.
That's disappointing from Ziyech. He's playing actually up top alongside Werner, but he just dropped off into the number 10 position, and the space for Werner to run into, he shouldn't really have put too much on that. Went straight through to the goalkeeper, but there's acres for Werner to run into.
Malang Sarr has possession and will just bring it to within 10 yards of the halfway line before exchanging passes with Ben Chilwell, and then finding Ruben Loftus-Cheek again. Last season Villa had a A couple of performances against Chelsea. They took 4 points from them. They had lost the previous 6 league meetings prior to that, and they were beaten 3-0 here the weekend before last, although Villa gave a good account of themselves out there. N'Golo Conte now for Chelsea on the bottom left-hand corner of the penalty area, and he has won the first corner of the night off the retreating Morgan Sanson, who just trying to stop the cross coming in, poked out a foot and steered it the wrong side of the corner flag as far as he was concerned.
Well, he picked possession up there from a pass from Saul. Noticeably, he's had 3 or 4 times he's had the ball now, Saul. He's had 1 touch, 2 touch, 1 touch, 2 touch. He's done things much quicker than he did against Aston Villa 2 weeks ago.
Well, he wasn't great that day, but he's such an intelligent player, such an excellent career behind him. He'll learn from his mistakes, there's no doubt about that. Reece James is going to take this corner. It's a right-footed in-swing to a very congested 6-yard box. It's dealt with by the Villa back line. Hooked forward again by Ziyech and headed away on the edge of the penalty area by Sanson. And then cleared further down the Aston Villa right, where Chilwell will be able to mop it up for Chelsea, who will build from the back again.
And they've started brightly, Chelsea, the home team. They're keeping the ball well. Ruben Loftus-Cheek always available, getting on it. Ben Chilwell started brightly down the left-hand side as well. He has got a bit to prove. Marcus Alonso, very much the number 1 left wing-back right now.
Has got a bit to prove. It's been a difficult 2021 for him after the high of winning the Champions League, then in the England squad, and not seeing any game time at all during the Euros. Probably had its effect. As Timo Werner taking it down towards the corner flag. Courtney Horse went with him and blocked the cross initially, but Ziyech can pick it up, and he'll now take on Horse on the Chelsea right, and Horse has done well, stood his ground on both occasions, the Londoner, and can get it upfield, but El Ghazi eventually does concede the throw, which Chelsea take quickly, and James will chip it back for Malang Sarr, wearing 31 for Chelsea, back inside his own half for Trevor Chalobah. Chalobah to James, and back out towards that Chelsea right-hand side again. An opportunity now for Hudson-Odoi to bring it forward with attacking intent. Werner couldn't find his man. Villa can bring it away. It's 3 against 2 just for a moment. They can work it right. Sanson sending it wide. Cameron Archer over the bar. What a chance for Aston Villa. They broke so quickly. It was the right pass that was played. Archer took a touch, kept her out quickly, and quickly enough to force Archer to take it first time. He's put too much on it. He's flighted it over the bar. It should really be 1-0 to Villa.
What a chance. What a chance for Cameron Archer. Did everything right, actually. I mean, his touch was perhaps a little strong. He took it towards Kepa, which meant he had to dink it over the top, and he did get too much on it. But what a break. There were 3 against 2. Picked the right pass. Archer's touch maybe just let him down. The one criticism I have of Chelsea so far is that they are too narrow. And I think you look at Hudson-Odoi on the right, Chilwell on the left. If they can just stay out wide, if they can switch the ball quickly, they'll see a lot of the ball. At the moment, they're narrowing off a fraction too much.
Well, it's a big chance for Cameron Archer, who spent last season playing on loan at Solihull Moors in the National League. Here's Chilwell winning another corner. No, double ricochet as he drove it in, hit Twanzebe and then bounced back into Chilwell. And goes out of play for a goal kick to Aston Villa. Now Archer, as I say, spent last season on loan at Solihull. He scored 1 senior goal for Villa's under-21s in the EFL Trophy, where he scored against Wickham. And had that hat-trick at Barrow in the second round of the League Cup, but perhaps some of the other Villa youngsters that night caught the eye more obviously than Archer. Philogene Badace and Carney Chukwuemeka has certainly had excellent nights up in Cumbria. Notwithstanding the fact that it was Archer that left with the match ball. West Ham, in our live game over on TalkSport, have taken the lead at Manchester United, and it's Manuel Lanzini that's got it. It's only his 2nd goal in 40-odd West Ham United games. But Lanzini's 9th minute opener has West Ham ahead at Old Trafford. Live over on TalkSport for you right now. Here, Chelsea bring it forward. Loftus-Cheek finding Chilwell. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Stands up across and steer backpedaling. It's very grateful to see that one just dip over his bar. Slightly mishit from Chilwell. Wasn't too far away from drifting over the keeper and into the top right-hand corner.
Brilliant from Loftus-Cheek. He just drifted past his man. He's so elegant on the ball. Should do it more often. And when the ball came to Chilwell, his first touch took him backwards, which meant he had to have another touch before delivering the cross.
Archer trying to wriggle his way past Chalobah, who did enough to be able to hold him up. And the loose ball rolls through towards Kepa Arrizabalaga. So Manchester United 0, West Ham 1. It's goalless everywhere else. Arsenal against Wimbledon, Brighton against Swansea, Millwall against Leicester, Wolves against Spurs, and here at Stamford Bridge, where Villa have missed the best chance so far. Cameron Archer firing over the bar. We're 10 minutes in here on TalkSport 2. Don't forget, from 4 a.m. every weekday morning, you can download the TalkSport Daily podcast, which will include some of the best bits from TalkSport and TalkSport 2 over the last 24 hours. So TalkSport Daily, you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or Acast. Chelsea try to bring the ball forward down their right-hand side. There's another foul, and referee Graham Scott has given Chelsea a free kick, which has been taken quickly by James. Just strolled forward nonchalantly onto the ball and pinged it out towards the left-hand side, looking for Ben Chilwell, who couldn't quite control it, and a very intelligent quick throw from Matty Cash will try and get Villa going down the right with Archer. Traore now making his way forward on his return to Stamford Bridge. Foul by Loftus-Cheek, but referee Scott plays the advantage. El Ghazi picks it up on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Works it back for Ashley Young. Young with a little diagonal ball forward towards Traore. Traore's ball deflecting off Conte. Buendia could pick it up, but Loftus-Cheek very quickly dispossesses him and chips it out for a throw that will be taken over on the Aston Villa left-hand side. Arsenal 1, Wimbledon 0 at the Emirates. An Alex Lacazette penalty on 11 minutes. So Arsenal ahead as they look for their third win in a row in all competitions. Lacazette's second goal of the season, the difference between the two teams there. Arsenal ahead, West Ham ahead. No score here. Villa bring it inside the Chelsea penalty area again, and it's cleared once more by the Chelsea backline. That was one of the features of Aston Villa's game plan when they came to Stamford Bridge 10 days ago, that they were on the front foot much more than many other visitors that Chelsea have faced here, and they're trying to take the game to the European champions again tonight. But Chelsea can bring it forward this time, and N'Golo Conte did the hard work with a great run, but it really was a something or nothing pass from him. And he was well ahead of Werner and goes out of play for a goal kick that Jed Steer will take. 13 gone, it's 0-0.
Really open game. Been a good start to the game. Chelsea have dominated possession, but on the counter, Villa look a threat. Need to get Buendia on the ball more. He's in that number 10 position behind Archer. Loftus-Cheek so far doing a good job of patrolling him and not allowing the ball into his feet. Of course, Buendia is someone who's capable of opening the door. I think that's an area that Dean Smith will be looking for, those creative players to get on the ball and try and forge chances for Cameron Archer. They need to see a little bit more of it. Traore, El Ghazi and Buendia.
Wolves 0, Spurs 1. Tanguy Ndombele with the opening goal at Molineux as Nuno goes back there for the second time this season, hoping to win again. 1-0 did it last time, will it this? Timo Werner chasing a ball to play down the Chelsea right, and coming across the cover, Twanzebe puts it out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Chelsea right flank. And Callum Hudson-Odoi, who recently played his 100th game for the club, has the ball in his hands about 10 yards from the corner flag. Throws it back, bouncing once and then twice away from Ruben Loftus-Cheek under a little bit of pressure from Buendia. Mopped up though easily by Sarr. Chilwell plays it down the line. Good movement from Saul, who's drawn the Villa defenders out of position. It's Morgan Sanson that had tracked him every step of the way. Saul just leaning into him, trying to hook his left foot around the ball to drive it inside the penalty area, but he got the angle wrong, and he goes out of play for another Villa goal kick. 14 gone on TalkSport 2 at 0-0.
The majority of the Chelsea attacks have come down the left so far in this game. Ben Chilwell's seen more of it than Callum Hudson-Odoi on the right-hand side. And you quite rightly said about Saul and the runs that he's making them out to the left-hand channel rather than the right. Albeit he's playing centrally, he looks like he's naturally gravitating to the left-hand side.
Yeah, Saul, a player who played nearly 450 games before ending up here on loan at Stamford Bridge. 340 of those for Atletico Madrid. Did score here in the Champions League for Atletico Madrid against Chelsea back in 2017, and he's involved there to help win it back. Hudson-Odoi can turn. Good ball down the Chelsea right. Conte Only a couple of yards in from the right-hand touchline. Finding Ziyech inside the box. Right-footed ball stood up by Callum Hudson-Odoi. Cash can head away at the far post, away from Chilwell. Traore comes back, and after a slight miscue from Sarr, Traore can bring it forward, and Sarr leant into him. Didn't want him to get too far. It's the kind of change that maybe later in the game would be meriting a yellow card, but he's been given his one there, Malang Sarr. It's a free kick to Aston Villa.
Noticeable when Chelsea's last attack and Conte down the right-hand side delivered the cross, that Chilwell was getting into the far post. I think that's something that he has to add to his game, get himself into more forward positions, particularly when you look at Alonso and what he does when he plays and the goal-scoring areas that he gets into. Chilwell has to add that to his game.
Ball's ricocheted off Marvelous Nakamba in the midfield, and Loftus-Cheek can pick it up. Ziyech just had a couple of loose touches so far tonight. That was another as he took it on the half turn and tried to play it forward for Timo Werner's run, and he couldn't. And then El Ghazi throws his hands out in dismay as he's popped the ball off to his left, and Nakamba, who isn't used to making marauding runs down the flank, wasn't where El Ghazi was expecting, and it's gone out for a throw that will be taken by Chelsea over on the far touchline. Chelsea have knocked Villa out of the League Cup on all three occasions when they've met in the past. Most recently in 2006, Chelsea winning 4-0 here. Lampard, Shevchenko, Essien and Drogba on target that day, and won 4-1 back in the 98-99 season when the two sides met. The following year, Chelsea won the FA Cup final against Aston Villa. So it is a fixture where historically things have tended to go one way. Also played each other in the semi-finals back in the mid-60s, and George Graham, who played for both clubs, scored the aggregate winner for Chelsea, who went on to lift this competition for the first of their 5 occasions that season, 1965. Timo Werner in possession for Chelsea. In front of us on the Chelsea left. The Blues kicking from right to left, defending the Matthew Harding stand in the first half here at Stamford Bridge. Night has fallen here in West London on a gorgeous autumnal day, and unseasonably mild. Not the night for a sweater or a coat here at Stamford Bridge this evening, although my esteemed colleague would disagree with that. Steer will play the ball out. Son has it outside the penalty area and flicks it to his left hand side for Ashley Young with 17 minutes in, and it's still 0-0.
I think we were expecting different weather. I'm wrapped up for winter, and you're very much in the throes of summer.
Oh, you've got to make the most of it. It's a gorgeous evening here. I have underclubbed, to be fair. I'm trying to brave it out. And you're looking at your watch. I know 10 o'clock's a long way away, isn't it, in the shirt sleeves. The ball's played forward by Buendia, and sliding in. It was a poor pass initially. Young tried to rescue it. Almost stopped it going out of play for a throw by putting it out for a corner, but it did just go over the line and out of play for a Chelsea throw, which they will take midway inside the Aston Villa half. Chances very much at a premium so far. It's been an open game, entertaining or so, but we're 18 minutes in and it's still 0-0, and the one clear opportunity so far has gone Villa's way, and missed by Cameron Archer.
It was a great chance as well, wasn't it? Glorious opportunity, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, lifted it over the top of him and over the top of the bar. I think Villa is struggling to get a grip of the game really in the middle of the pitch. Need to do a bit more to get on the ball, because Chelsea are dominating it, forcing them back.
This is one of only 2 goalless games now, because deadlock's also been broken at the Amex, where Brighton leads Swansea in the 7:30 kickoff as Aaron Connolly on target there 12 minutes before half-time. 2 games in the Scottish League Cup tonight, incidentally. They're at the quarter-final stage of that. They're both 0-0. Dundee against St Johnstone, the holders, and Rangers against Livingston. We'll keep you up to date with those goals as well. I'll also tell you what's coming up over the course of the next week on the TalkSport network in terms of live action. Ball out of play for an Aston Villa throw. It's with a chance to do that right now. Next live game Friday night, West Brom against Queen's Park Rangers. 2 of the sides have made good starts in the Championship, and that's exclusive to TalkSport 2 Friday night with an 8 o'clock kickoff, with the build-up beginning at 6 with Dan Windle. And then both of these clubs in action Saturday 12:30, and we've got them both covered for you. Chelsea here against Manchester City. What a mouth-watering clash that is. Steer plays the ball outside of his penalty area and nearly passed it to Ziyech 25 yards from goal. Chelsea against Manchester City, 12:30 here. The build-up starting game day live 11 o'clock Saturday. And Villa's trip to Manchester United is live over on TalkSport 2. Also, a 12:30 kickoff. It's been brought forward because of a concert at Old Trafford Cricket Ground on Saturday. The Cortina's in town, apparently.
Nice.
So Manchester United against Aston Villa is a 12:30 kickoff, and that is live and exclusive for National Radio, TalkSport 2, Saturday lunchtime. Tonight, we're 20 minutes in at 0-0.
I think bearing in mind the difficulty of those fixtures that these two teams have got at the weekend, you can totally understand why Chelsea have made 10 changes, why Aston Villa have made 9 changes. I mean, plus this competition is a great opportunity for players to get minutes under their belt. It's so difficult for them otherwise. You know, a lot of these lads don't even play in the under-23 matches. It's tough to keep your fitness at a level so that you're ready to go into a Premier League team if you're not playing games. So you can understand why managers do make as many changes as they do.
Thomas Tuchel has won 3 domestic cup competitions in his career, one with Dortmund and a couple in his time with PSG. He has tended to go pretty strong in matches like this, and when you got the kind of squad that Chelsea have, I guess that's pretty easy because he's made 10 changes today and still got 9 internationals playing, one of whom is Ziyech, who's got it now. Left-footed ball chipped towards Ben Chilwell, but easily headed away by Cash. Traore trying to help it on, but Sarr's going to be there first, and he will turn it forward again. Traore trying to intercept. Sarr laying it back for Chalobah, and it's been pretty harum-scarum at times in the midfield, and an open game played at a good tempo, as I say, but a complete lack of conquering goal-scoring opportunity inside the first quarter of this game. 0-0, and here's Matt Holland.
Well, it's very tight and congested. I think Villa are set up to be very narrow, give Chelsea the width. They're playing a back 4 tonight, Aston Villa. They've been playing a back 3 for the last couple of games.
Conte swinging a ball in, Sowell coming to meet it, but under pressure from Cash, a difficult chance. He's headed it wide from the penalty spot.
And bearing in mind that Aston Villa are saying to Chelsea, you can have the width, I think we're seeing a bit more of that, what we've just seen. Callum Hudson-Odoi staying out wide, delivering a cross into the box early, not thinking about it. As soon as he got the opportunity, delivered the ball into the area. Now, there weren't too many targets. Sowell made the run into the box and got on the end of it, but I think that's something that Chelsea can do more of.
0-0 it remains. Jed Steer with the clearance, which is headed back towards the Villa penalty area by Reece James, and then cleared by Courtney Horse. Out of play for a throw which will be taken over on the Chelsea right, over on the far touchline, just inside Aston Villa territory. In fact, the ball boy throws it back, or one of the fans in the crowd, I beg your pardon, throws it back, and Callum Hudson-Odoi nicked a few yards as a result of that. Spurs 2 up now at Wolves. Harry Kane has scored in that game at Molineux. Kane's 3rd of the season for Spurs, who've lost their last 2 league games, but 2-0 up tonight at Molineux. Still, Wolves haven't scored a goal at home this season. Nakamba turning under pressure from Werner on the edge of his own penalty area, lays it back for Steer. Steer fall for Axel Tuanzebe, has captained Manchester United in the past in this competition. Traore swing a high ball out to the Aston Villa left. It was all Al Ghazi could do to keep it in, but in doing so, he's just nodded it down for Hudson-Odoi, and then Chalobah will play it forward for Loftus-Cheek. Back for Chalobah, back in turn for Arifa Balaga. He's got a bit of history in this competition with the penalty shootout that you'll remember in the final couple of seasons ago. Now Villa have it once more in the midfield. Tuanzebe is working forward for the bearded Frenchman Sanson. It's a lovely 1-2 between him and Traore, and then as he had Archer making a really good run to his right, he looked the other way to try and find Buendia. Chelsea mopped up, back pass put pressure on Arifa Balaga, who could deal with it, but all he did was smack it upfield, and Chelsea forced again to win it back under a bit of pressure with Saul, who finds Sarr, whose heavy touch gives Aston Villa a throw. It's good defending from the front by Archer and Co to win this throw in an advanced position for Villa.
Great looking at the benches and the reaction of the two managers. Dean Smith applauding his team. That's more likely from his point of view, pushing higher up the pitch, forcing Chelsea into mistakes. Thomas Tuchel threw his arms in the air, really frustrated that his team are giving the ball away as cheaply as they are.
Told you Spurs were 2-0 up. Brighton are 2-0 up as well at home to Swansea, and Aaron Connolly scored them both in the space of 5 minutes. 0-0 here. Matty Cash has possession for Villa from the throw. And it's back for Nakamba. High left-footed ball swung towards the far post. And easy for Hudson-Odoi just to turn nonchalantly and watch it drift over his shoulder. And out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Aretha Balaga. So, elsewhere, Arsenal leading Wimbledon by a goal to nil. Lacazette. Brighton 2 up at home to Swansea. Connolly's got them both. Manchester United 0, West Ham 1, Lanzini. That's over on TalkSport for you right now. Millwall against Leicester's goalless. Wolves 0, Spurs 2, and Ndombele and Kane. And it's 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Villa. And the 2 Scottish League Cup quarter-finals are goalless as well. Chalobah finding Reece James, who will just ease it away from El Ghazi. Now played down the touchline for N'Golo Conte. Conte turning away from Nakamba to find Hakim Ziyech. Left-footed ball swung in, and he just couldn't quite get the angle right. It's a better ball, driving it more directly inside the penalty area, but a yard ahead of Timo Werner and straight into the hands of Jed Steer. Chelsea win it back from a quick clearance from the Villa custodian, and Chelsea will be able to bring it forward with Sarr finding Chilwell and sliding in. Cash with the challenge, and he's flicked it off Chilwell and out of play for a goal kick. 0-0.
I've got to say, I thought that might have gone the other way. I thought that might have been a corner. Referee Graham Scott thought otherwise. Just watching the way Timo Werner started the game and how he started looking to play. He's looking to play on the shoulder and spinning behind. Aston Villa playing a back 4 tonight rather than a back 3. They're slightly higher up. They're trying to push higher up. Therefore, the space is in behind. He's made the run 3 or 4 times, and Chelsea have been slow to play that ball over the top. He's making the run. He now needs to be found.
Do you think playing through the middle as an orthodox 9 is his best position?
No. I think ultimately Lukaku's going to be the main man through the middle of the pitch. His role is going to be off him, and I think playing and buzzing around him, and that's something that Thomas Tuchel's talked about. He feels as though it could be a partnership that works. He feels as though the confidence is starting to return to Timo Werner.
Villa trying to work it forward here with Archer. Sanson with the turn in midfield, trying to get away from Saul, who's fouled him, and it's a free kick to Villa. One last thought on Timo Werner. He scored at Spurs in his only League Cup tie, which was last season, but just 1 goal in 16 Premier League games, if ever. Thomas Tuchel had a wish list for tonight. It would be not only to get through, but that Werner would get himself on the score sheet just to improve his stats.
Yeah, definitely, for his own good as well,
yeah,
for his own confidence, the psychological element of it as well. He's been very unselfish. I mean, as I say, some of the runs that he's made tonight have been good. It's a case now of being found.
Well, Aston Villa have a half-decent opportunity here from a set piece. Chelsea have a line of all 10 of their outfield players stretched the width of the penalty area, but 3 yards outside the box. Free kick is taken short by Buendia. Rolled down the left-hand side of the penalty area, and a sliding change to block the cross puts it wide of the side netting from Ben Chilwell. I think a few on this side of the ground thought, seeing the net ripple, that it might have been their own goal. It goes down as good defending, and it will be a corner which will be taken on the Villa left, their first of the night.
There's been a real inventiveness about Aston Villa's set pieces of late. A new coach, Austin McPhee, watched them at the weekend against Everton, did things differently, just tried different things, and again they do another one there that everyone was expecting the ball into the box, but they rolled it down the side of Chelsea and have won themselves a corner.
Yes, expect the unexpected. Austin McPhee, the new coach, one of 2 new coaches. They brought in Aaron Danks, who'd been working with Vincent Kompany at Anderlecht. And he's the first team coach now. McPhee in charge of the set pieces. In comes the corner, and a shot which might go down as the least accurate shot of the season geographically from Cameron Archer, as he met it 7 yards from goal on the volley, and it ended up on the halfway line. Buendia just laying it back out towards El Ghazi. El Ghazi now with the opportunity to try and beat Hudson-Odoi. Buendia's got it on the corner of the penalty area. He's rolled it square, and just a little bit too far ahead of Sanson to get a first-time shot in, and then as he clips it, it hits Werner and just bobbles up into the hands of Aretha Balaga. It wasn't as bad a shot as I'm making it sound from Archer, because the missed timing was only fractional. Just swung his left foot fractionally too late, and it's come off the wrong side of it and skewed away rather than towards goal.
Well, as shots go, it was a great clearance.
His shot goes a great back pass. Here's Sarr finding Chalobah. Chalobah back to James, to N'Golo Kanté. It's still 0-0. We've played half an hour now at Stamford Bridge tonight. Tomorrow on the TalkSport network, Gabby Agbonlahor will join Ali McCoist and Alan Brazil on the breakfast show between 6 and 10 tomorrow morning. And then Hawksby and Baker between 1 and 4. Also, mustn't miss radio tomorrow afternoon over on TalkSport. And another free kick here to Aston Villa, who are beginning to get a little bit more possession and have it in better areas. And Traore's been fouled here to give Villa another chance to work it inside the box.
Stemmed from another giveaway actually from Saul. Talked about him wanting to do things quicker. In that first game against Aston Villa, he was robbed of possession. He had too many touches. He was doing things slowly. You can see tonight there's a real desire to do things quickly, but in doing so he's rushing his passing now, so he's giving the ball away cheaply, and he did again, got Aston Villa back on the front foot. What I would say about this Chelsea team though, there's a real premium on their defence, isn't there, and clean sheets. And you see them lose the ball, and there's a hunting, there's a togetherness about going to win the ball back and getting bodies behind the ball and saying you're not going to score against us. I think that's something that should be commended. Thomas Tuchel, you can see as soon as they lose it, let's win it back quickly, urging his team to really show that intensity to fight and win the ball back.
There's a yellow card for the challenge, incidentally, to Malang Sarr, as our in-stadium producer Declan McCarthy points out to me. 65-35 possession-wise in Chelsea's favour at the moment, but one off-target shot apiece. That's all we've had in terms of opportunities, with 32 minutes gone. You're not missing anything because Traore is still down receiving treatment from the Aston Villa medical staff. Emi Buendia standing over this free kick.
I'll tell you what though, two shots off target, that's all we've seen. But it feels as though the game's gone like that. 32 minutes into it, it really has flown by. There's been a really intensity about it, despite the amount of changes that they've made. I think it's been a really good watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Go along with that. And the principal drama still lies ahead. Chelsea keeping a slightly deeper line this time. Buendia, right-footed, swung in. Easy for Arifa Balaga, despite the fact that Courtney Horse just ran a country mile to attack it, but he didn't get there in time. Traore comes back on the field. Chelsea can bring it forward quickly after Arifa Balaga's good handling from the free kick and good release to get Chilwell going. Loftus-Cheek with a couple of pirouettes. Wouldn't have looked out of place on Strictly, just as he tried to turn away from Cameron Archer to buy himself a yard of space in the midfield. And now N'Golo Kanté finds Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi to Ziyech, to Kanté, back on the Chelsea right. The Villa fans singing, "You've only come to see the Villa." And trying to get their side going. There's been another decent performance from Aston Villa, is so good at the weekend in putting 3 past Everton to get back into the top half of the Premier League. Here's Chilwell. Chilwell can't turn away from Cash. Half-time whistle's gone at Brighton. They're 2-0 up at home to Swansea in a 7:30 kickoff. Kanté back for Sarr. Sarr to Trevor Chalobah. Forward towards Sarr again. Ziyech made an excellent run forward there, but pass had to be played first time. He would have been offside by the time I think one of his teammates had spotted it. And then Twanzebe, getting it away from Werner's pressure, has just tapped it out of play for a throw. That'll be taken on the Chelsea left and taken quickly by Ziyech. Back for Malang Sarr on his Chelsea debut tonight. A player with over 100 senior games behind him. Chilwell trying to take on Sanson. Chilwell pulling it back, flicking it off Traore. Goes out of play for another throw on the Chelsea left. This near touchline. Sarr thinks better of taking it himself and leaves it for Chilwell. Chilwell's back 20 yards from the corner flag. Takes his left hand off the ball and just waves Saul forward. Then throws it back for Loftus-Cheek. He goes to Chalobah via Sarr. Chalobah now to James. James playing on the right of 3 Chelsea centre-halves today. Hudson-Odoi can bring it forward. Ziyech stretching to receive a slightly misdirected ball, but he did well to keep the move alive. Chilwell back for Loftus-Cheek. Now Sarr playing it forward. Comes off Saul. White sweatband around his right wrist. And he gets a return ball now from Malang Sarr into Loftus-Cheek again. Loftus-Cheek to Chalobah. Plenty of passes in this Chelsea move. Plenty of patience in it as well. They are making progress towards the edge of the Villa penalty area now. Conte making his way forward. Chelsea's captain for the night. Ball check back for Reece James. James in towards Conte, and he's just bobbled off his thigh before he could get it into a shooting position. Villa work it forward long very quickly, where Chalobah had to keep his eye on the ball like a baseball outfielder out by the warning track, just making sure that the ball coming down out of the sky went his way, and he dealt with Archer really effectively. Let the ball bounce and then turned away from Archer to be able to bring the ball forward once more for Chelsea, who then win a throw off Sonsol, which they'll take on their left. 35 gone, it's 0-0.
They have to be patient, Chelsea, because there's a good shape about Aston Villa. Men behind the ball.
Loftus-Cheek, clever little turn from him. Aerial pass out towards Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi inside the penalty area, and he's just trying to take on one too many. Ashley Young effects the block, but it's another Chelsea corner.
Yeah, it changes the picture, doesn't it? The way that Ruben Loftus-Cheek plays, dropping the shoulder, beating his man, and all of a sudden the picture opens up. And with Hudson-Odoi staying out wide, the ball's on. If he hits it early, he didn't quite get his step over right, but it is a corner for Chelsea.
Arsenal and West Ham 1-0 up in their respective games tonight. Brighton and Spurs 2 up in theirs. It's goalless at Millwall and goalless here at Chelsea. Have their third corner of the night, and it's going to be a left-footed in-swinger to a very congested 6-yard box. Ziyech, as it was half-headed clear, trying his luck from distance, and Chelsea win the seconds with Reece James. James out towards Werner. Almost sold James short with a return ball, and Villa have won it back now with Buendia. Loftus-Cheek covering a lot of ground. Chalobah diving in, but timing into perfection to stop the loose ball finding El Ghazi, who, had he got past Chalobah there, could have been clean through, albeit with a long way to go. Chelsea break and get themselves going forward at the other end. Ziyech with a couple of step-overs. They don't deceive Young. Ziyech with a shot. Steer diving to his right-hand side. Grasps the ball at the second attempt. That's the best shot of the night so far, but it's still 0-0.
Yeah, what you can't afford to do with Ziyech is let him come inside off that right-hand side onto his left and get his shot away. Don't open the goal up. Don't allow him to come in on his favoured foot. I think he perhaps got a little bit of fortune because the shot went through the legs of the defender, which made it more difficult for the goalkeeper. But whatever you do, don't show him the goal. Don't open the goal up.
Those are thoughts of Matt Holland alongside me, Jim Proudfoot, here at Stamford Bridge tonight. Sowell has gone down in what looked like an innocuous challenge, but he crumpled straight to the floor, holding firstly his ankle and then his right knee. He's now sitting up, and he is back on his feet, and it looked for a moment as though it's serious, but he's okay without the need for any treatment. He actually inflicted the pain on himself in making a foul challenge on Traore. He's been in the wars. Cash taking the free kick for the Villa. High ball swept forward, and it's very well read and reached by Reece James, who craned his neck to cushion a header back for Kepa Arrizabalaga. Good defending, 0-0 with 7 to go to half-time.
It was good defending. He's actually defended very well, Reece James. I don't like him in that position particularly, because I think it takes away a little bit from his attacking play when he plays as a right wing-back. But we've seen a number of players do that, a number of full-backs do that, play on that right-hand side of a back three, because you do see a lot of the ball. Carl Walker's one that springs to mind and utilises their pace to get their team out of trouble. He's done that a couple of times tonight, alongside Chalobah, who's made some good interventions as well. But I prefer him slightly further up the pitch.
Conte with a long diagonal towards Ben Chilwell. He's waiting on the edge of the penalty area, correctly judged that he wasn't going to get there, and then try to lay it back, stretching on the touchline for Sarr, who wins the throw off Traore. Wolves have their first goal at Molineux this season. Leander Dendoncker with it, and they've halved the deficit. Wolves 1, Spurs 2. Free kick to Villa. Traore taking it quickly. That's another excellent piece of defending from James. That's obviously something that Villa have talked about, the quick restarts, and they tried to get El Ghazi isolated against one of the defenders. On that occasion it was James. Really good header. Get it back to his goalkeeper. Now Werner at the other end breaking. Try to pull it back. Buendia was there, back inside his own penalty area, very deep, having tracked the run of Sowell to knock it away. Villa cleared their lines, but only as far as Loftus-Cheek, and now it's played down towards Ben Chilwell. An entertaining, goalless game. at Stamford Bridge tonight in this third round Carabao Cup tie with 5 to go to the break at 0-0.
High tempo, end to end. It's been a really good watch.
Misjudgment by Ashley Young. Hudson-Odoi back for Werner. Good block, Twanzebe. And a shot that Jet Steer might well have been able to save anyway, but Axel Twanzebe did well to stick out a leg and effect the block, and it goes out for a Chelsea throw, but in a much deeper position.
Good defending, excellent block from Twanzebe. Just going back to Reece James, although as I speak it looks like Aston Villa have got a problem. Is it Sanson who's down in the middle of the pitch? Well, he's looking like he's needing treatment. Yeah, physio's coming on. Just on Reece James, his awareness has been great tonight. As you said about Villa looking to do things quickly, he's been switched on. He's been alive every single time to that ball over the top. But he's also been alive to when Chelsea have had possession and they lose it. He's been quick to get in front of the centre forward as well and win it in front of Cameron Archer or Buendia, whoever it is that's playing the highest up. So I would say his awareness tonight has been absolutely spot on.
Well, Sanson is down midway inside his own half, and this does look a little bit ominous. Hasn't played since the first week of April because of a knee problem that he picked up. I hope that's not an exacerbation of the same injury. Player who they signed from Marseille in a £15 million deal back in January, but this is only his 4th start for the club, and it's going to come to a premature end. They're going to make a change, and it's Carney Chukwuemeka who is going to come on to replace him.
And he's looking to the sky. It's a massive disappointment for him, and now you can see he's just rubbing his shirt on his face, absolutely gutted that he's got to make way.
Substitution for Aston Villa replacing number 8.
Big disappointment for him.
Number 33, Carney Chukwuemeka.
A big roar from the Villa fans for Chukwuemeka. He's only 17. What a prospect he is. Part of the side that won the FA Youth Cup for Villa. Start against Barrow in the League Cup, and so good that day that John McGinn was forced with COVID-related issues out of Villa's next Premier League game. Chukwuemeka started against Brentford in the Premier League. Starting a Premier League game at the age of 17 is something that not too many can say they've done, and I guess fewer and fewer will be able to say it as time goes on. But Chukwuemeka is on here. He really is one to watch. Fine player, and his older brother at the club as well on the bench with him tonight, Caleb, who was playing League One football for Northampton Town last season. So it's 0-0, 2.5 minutes plus probably a couple to be added on until we get to half time. Ben Chilwell, left-footed ball chipped over the top. Werner's going to chase it. Twanzebe's there first and will drive it forward into Werner and out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Aston Villa right-hand side. 0-0 the scoreline as we approach the break.
He's been an ever-willing runner, Timo Werner. He's run the channels. He's been up there pretty much by himself. She's trying to play close to him. So too Sal.
Cash in no hurry to take this throw on the Aston Villa right. Player who scored his first goal in 19 months at the weekend against Everton. Nakamba losing out to Conte in the heart of the midfield. Buendia hangs his head, disappointed with the contribution of his teammate there. Conte could be a costly one as well, because Hudson-Odoi's got it now. Movement from Ziyech to his right, and just try to offer himself on the overlap. That's the pass that Hudson-Odoi plays. Back it goes for Reece James. Conte attacking the penalty area. Hudson-Odoi getting it back towards Ziyech, who was dispossessed at the second attempt by Nakamba, and then Villa will bring it forward but can't get too far. Buendia loses out, a little bit of pinball wizardry in the heart of the midfield, and Chalobah came out on top. Now Chilwell will be able to take it on. Central position, 25 yards out, slicked it in towards Ziyech, who couldn't control it. Slammed away from him by Twanzebe. By Courtney Horse, I beg your pardon, and now a chance for Traore to play it forward, and Archer is in, and Kepa Arrizabalaga makes the save, and then as this work back towards goal, it's cleared off the line by Reece James. But another glorious opportunity for Aston Villa. Cameron Archer through one-on-one. Fine save from Arrizabalaga, and Reece James did the rest. It's still 0-0.
Yeah, I think we give credit to the goalkeeper here, rather than say that Archer that got his finish wrong, because I thought his first touch was exemplary. Got it out of his feet, got his shot away. Kepa was really quickly off his line, and there's that awareness we were talking about with Reece James on the line. He was the one making the block. They've had two glorious opportunities on the counter, Aston Villa.
Now they have their second corner of the night as the fourth official, Gavin Ward, comes to the edge of the technical area and shows 3 extra minutes. Corner taken short. Here's Anwar El Ghazi. Back towards Ashley Young. Takes a touch. Drop of the shoulder. Gets it away from Sowell. Right footed shot from Cash. Was going off target. Sowell gets it away from Buendia. Villa trying to pick it up. Can do exactly that with Traore. Traore onto his left foot with a shot towards the near post. And Aretha Balaga did well to read it. And he got down. Gathered it cleanly. And it's 0-0 in first half stoppage time.
Well, much like Ziyech for Chelsea. He wants to cut in on that left-hand side and get his shot away. He was allowed to do it. He was facing up Chilwell, cut inside him and got his shot away, but Kepa was equal to it, down to his left. Good goalkeeping. He's had a good first half, Kepa.
Sarr laying it back here for Chalobah, and then played out towards Reece James. Hudson-Odoi, he's got 2 runners ahead of him. Werner's going to get there first. Out towards the right-hand touchline, though. And he looked for Ziyech, who was back behind him in support, and he couldn't find him. And Chelsea have just lost their way over the last 7-8 minutes or so. That have ended the first half the brighter, albeit that still Chelsea having the majority of possession. Villa's is that little bit more potent.
Do you know, I think they've just lost their way in the final third, Chelsea. I think the final ball, the decision-making, the heavy touches around the box, not quite making the right final pass. I think that's what's let them down the most.
Throw is taken down the Villa left by Ashley Young, and it's headed on by El Ghazi. Cleared by Chalobah. He's had a good start to his Chelsea first team career, very solid in the games that he's played, and of course he had that fantastic debut where he scored against Palace. Ball out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Jed Steer away to our left-hand side. Arsenal 1, Wimbledon 0, Brighton 2, Swansea 0, Manchester United 0, West Ham 1, Millwall 0, Leicester 0, Wolves 1, Spurs 2, and Steer doing everything he can to knock a few more seconds off the clock at the end of the first half stoppage time here. Spots it down. Only now does he address the ball. Hits it left-footed over the halfway line. Still a minute or so of stoppage time to go.
I'll tell you what we've seen the last couple of league games from Chelsea is half-time substitutions that have made a difference. Thomas Tuchel not afraid to make changes if it's not working. It's not been perfect this first half. You wouldn't be surprised if at half-time he did something again.
Yeah, took Sowell off in the last home game here. The match between these two, some 10-11 days ago. Here's Matty Cash now for Villa. Right-footed ball driven into the Chelsea half, repelled by Loftus-Cheek. Traore winning the seconds, looking for Archer, but James is there first. Gets it back for Kepa Arrizabalaga. And his is the last touch of the first half, which has been much more entertaining than the raw statistics would suggest. 0-0. Bereft really a goal-scoring opportunity. Only 2 or 3 shots on target between the two teams. Cameron Archer with the best chances for Villa, firing an early one over the bar, forcing a good save as well out of Kepa Arrizabalaga. Late in the half, Reece James clearing one off the line. Sowell having a chance at the other end, but goalless at half-time, Matt.
It's been a good first half, and I think you're right. It's been better than the stats suggest. You know, I think Chelsea have dominated the ball. They've looked confident in possession, but they've been vulnerable to the counter-attack, and Villa have been alive to that. Cameron Archer's had a couple of glorious opportunities. Kepa, for the second one, I thought was outstanding. Reece James and Trevor Chalobah have been excellent at the heart of that Chelsea defence. I think that the two of them have played well. Chelsea's problem, I think, has been in the final third. I think they've made the wrong choice for their final pass. And I also think they're playing a little bit too narrow. They're not getting Hudson-Odoi and Chilwell into the game wide enough. That's been their biggest issue in the first half.
It's a Villa steering goal. Cash, Twanzebe, Hawes and Young, Nakamba and Traore, Carly Chukwuemeka, Buendia and El Ghazi and Archer up front. Chelsea, Arrizabalaga in goal, James, Chalobah and Sarr, Hudson-Odoi, Conte, Sowell and Hudson-Odoi, I'll get there in the end. Hudson-Odoi and Chilwell as wing-backs, and it'll be Loftus-Cheek alongside Sal, and Ziyech and Mount behind Timo Werner. Yeah, take 3 was the best one, use that. Chelsea about to get underway. Start of the second half in the blue shirts and shorts, white socks, and they're kicking from left to right in this second half. 0-0 with another 45 minutes ahead of us here on TalkSport 2, and then if it's still dead level, a penalty shootout.
We're not live anyway, are we? That was a good rehearsal, that, Jim.
Yeah, we'll take that. Well, it'll be better on the day. James back for Chalobah, and Chalobah working it across the edge of his own penalty area for Sarr. Sarr now out towards Ben Chilwell, long left-footed ball forward. Sal will chase after it. It's headed down by Twanzebe, headed away effectively in a lovely turn by Emi Buendia, the £38 million man, and he's sent Archer forward down the inside right channel, but certainly too straight a pass for him. And it's gone through to the goalkeeper, Kepa Balaga, who will bowl it out for Reece James, and he will find Hudson-Odoi with a minute gone in the second half on TalkSport 2.
It looks like Mason Mount is playing in N'Golo Conte's position alongside Loftus-Cheek. I mean, I guess the one worry would be that Conte's picked up an injury, but my best guess is that it's half a game each after the weekend, and they played half a game each.
Yeah, looking ahead to that game here against Manchester City. It is live on TalkSport with a 12:30 kick-off this Saturday. Villa in action at Manchester United live over on TalkSport 2 at the same time, 12:30 Saturday. Here's Chilwell, ball inside the penalty area. Nobody there to attack it. Courtney Hause could clear it, and it's gone out of play for the first quarter of the second half.
Well, it was Hakim Ziyech was the nearest to it, and he just stopped. He stopped about 10 yards from goal rather than continuing his run towards the 6-yard box. Wonderful work from Chilwell. Good delivery. Ziyech wasn't on the move. He stood still. Courtney Hause read it well.
And a big ovation for Mason Mount as he goes across to take this Chelsea corner front of the Matthew Harding stand. Chelsea with 3, only about 2 or 3 yards from the goal line as the corner comes in. It's cleared out towards the edge of the penalty area. Ziyech thought better of the shot, trying to thread the ball back through towards Mason Mount. Villa half clear it, but Chelsea instantly win it back. Here is Ziyech, left-footed scupper. Hudson-Odoi coming in at the back post. Turned a bad shot into a good pass, but then came up with a bad shot of his own, and he shanks it wide. 0-0.
Yeah, it wasn't meant for him by any stretch of the imagination, but once it reached him, he should have done better. And it got there and he had plenty of space. Just couldn't quite wrap his foot around it. It wasn't far out, only 8 yards on the angle. Couldn't hit the target.
He's due a goal. Hudson-Odoi hasn't scored in his last 23 games in all competitions since the FA Cup tie against Morecambe last season. He was one of the players who was a runner-up in this competition with Chelsea 3 seasons ago now. Cash playing it forward out towards Traoré, who scored a couple of Premier League goals in his time for Chelsea and scored against them on the last day of last season when Villa beat the Blues by 2-1. They have other things on their mind with the Champions League final on the immediate horizon that day. Traoré's been fouled again, and it's another free kick to Aston Villa. And Chelsea continue to try and keep a high line in these situations. This time they've got 7 strung out, about 7-8 yards outside the penalty area, and the ball is only about 10-12 yards deeper than that. Cash standing over it, and he's gone behind square to find Ashley Young. Central position, 20 outside the box, right-footed ball, chip forward, and that worked better on the training ground, that body more than it has done in reality, as it was just chipped straight out of play for a throw down by the corner flag. Kemar Roofe has scored for Rangers, who lead Livingston by a 0 in the Scottish League Cup quarter-final. And here in the Carabao Cup third round, it's still 0-0 between Chelsea and Villa on TalkSport 2.
Well, that free kick that Aston Villa took worked better at the weekend against Everton. They used exactly the same free kick. They got the man free. Yeah, that was Twanzebe who made the run. I think it was Konza at the weekend that did. Ended up with a shot from Danny Ings not far away. So it worked better at the weekend than it did tonight.
Now Hause has lost possession. Sal's done well to pick his pocket, and he's found Hudson-Odoi, who's sending Ashley Young backpedaling very quickly. Hudson-Odoi with a shot and steer again. Probably the third attempt can safely gather it. He got something behind it. He then flicked off his knee and threatened to roll away, but he very gratefully stuck out his hands and brought it into his chest to make the save. But better from Chelsea. It's 0-0.
Yeah, and better from Hudson-Odoi as well. Good positive play. Took the defender right inside the box, who was backtracking. It was Ashley Young. Didn't want to make a challenge because Hudson-Odoi was inside the penalty area. Ended up getting his shot away. It was a good save from Steer down to his right at the second attempt.
Well, this is now the only goalless tie in the League Cup tonight, because Leicester have taken the lead at Millwall. Ademola Lookman scoring his first goal for the Foxes, who without a win in 3 games in all competitions, and they lead by a goal to 0. Remember last week there were 2 up against Napoli and only drew. Long way to go yet, but they are ahead. Also ahead tonight, Arsenal, Brighton, West Ham and Spurs in their respective cup ties. This one locked together at 0-0. Ball out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Aston Villa left-hand side by Ashley Young. Young, who rejoined from Inter Milan, having won the Scudetto last season. 10 years ago he scored in this fixture before the Villa. The only goal he's ever scored in nearly 30 games against Chelsea for his various clubs. He's left the ball now for Matt Cash to take one of his long throws. Cash has dried the ball on a conveniently placed towel. Now hurls it with real spin inside the penalty area. A little bit of pushing and shoving going on. Loftus-Cheek was nudged to the ground, and Graham Scott saw that and has given a free kick Chelsea's way. 6 gone in the second half. Chelsea 0, Villa 0 on TalkSport 2.
It's the old Stoke City Rory Delap with the towel, as you say, conveniently placed, dry the ball and whiz it into the box. Plenty of big targets, Aston Villa. It's a decent throw he's got, Matty Cash. It isn't quite as good as Rory Delap's.
He gets good distance, but he hasn't quite got the flat trajectory, which was what made Delap's throw such a potent delivery. But he gets good spin on it as well. An awkward one to defend. It's a decent weapon as far as the Villa are concerned. Now he has the ball at his feet, and he comes forward again. A really underrated player, Cash, and he's played it forward, and commentators curse. He split the gap between 2 of his teammates, and it was knocked away by Reece James. Villa win it back though with Buendia, but there was a foul by Young on Hudson-Odoi, which has given Chelsea a free kick on halfway. It's 0-0. Chalobah playing it forward towards Loftus-Cheek, and back it goes for Trevor Chalobah again. Now Reece James on the Chelsea right, playing it back inside his own half for Kepa Arrizabalaga. Played the second half against Villa on the last day of last season. Edouard Mendy had been injured in the first half of that game, a collision with the post. Chilwell down towards Hudson-Odoi, finding a little bit more room now, and they're finding him more frequently. Hudson-Odoi making his way through. Still he's got it as Young tried to clear it. Hudson-Odoi nicked it away from him. Mason Mount on as a half-time substitute, playing it back for Hudson-Odoi again on the Chelsea right, into the feet of Werner, to Mount, back for James. James to Ruben Loftus-Cheek, has done well, just a little drop of the shoulder, got away from Buendia with ease. Werner has it now in the corner of the penalty area, left-footed shot, hits Hawes, no penalty. See to hit him on the arm, back for Sal, that hit Hawes, but was clearly a clean block. He did very well to charge that down, and it's ricocheted off his heel and goes out of play for a throw.
Good early pressure, start the second half from Chelsea. You do wonder about the fitness levels of some of these players, because they haven't played a lot of football, some of them. If it does go to the benches, then Chelsea's is stronger.
Yeah, they got the likes of Lukaku waiting to come on if necessary. Hudson-Odoi pulls the ball back for Hakim Ziyech. James firing it in. Werner with the goal, and Chelsea lead. Trademark Timo Werner header. Ball swung inside the penalty area, and Werner had lost its mark. He had plenty of time. 7 yards out, powers it into the net past Jed Steer, and Chelsea lead by a goal to 0.
Well, if anyone needed a goal, it was Timo Werner, and he's got one. Inch perfect cross from Reece James, absolutely on the money, just inviting Werner to arrive at the far post and head it past Jed Steer, and he obliged. Wonderful ball. He's only 3 or 4 yards out, Timo Werner, He gets good connection, rises high above his man and plants the header into the back of the net. Chelsea lead.
2 games he's played in this competition, he's scored in them both. 1 at Tottenham, 1 here at the Bridge tonight against Aston Villa. Chelsea with the breakthrough. Only his 13th goal for the club at a rate of 1 every 4.5 games, which is clearly something that he will feel needs improving upon. But we'd spoke in the first half about Thomas Tuchel's wish list: victory, qualification and a goal, at least 1, for Timo Werner. And he might get the lot. 1-0 to Chelsea here on TalkSport 2. Steer clears his lines for Villa. And those first half chances that they couldn't take, more significant now. Hudson-Odoi thought he was fouled. Buendia allowed to travel further forward with the ball, but then he thought he was fouled in turn, and the referees let both go. Werner's got it. With his back to the direction of play, makes a good darting run forward. He's in again, and has put it wide. Could have been 2 in 2 minutes. Werner starting that himself, took the ball on the half turn, flicked it to his right hand side, got the return ball, having darted in behind Courtney Hawes, drew the goalkeeper and hit a first time shot across the face of Jed Steer, but it bobbled wide by about 3 feet.
Oh, his movement all night has been absolutely superb, Timo Werner. And again, he just drops his shoulder, gets into the space behind that Aston Villa defence, took his shot so early. Steer would have had absolutely no chance if it was on target, just dragged it wide of the post. Great start to the second half from Chelsea.
Yeah, they've been really purposeful. They've played with a little bit more tempo, just a bit more fine-tuning. Here's Ziyech! And that forces a good save out of Steer as well. A left-footed drive from the edge of the box. Got down to his left, got a strong left arm to it to beat it away. But it's all Chelsea now. And they lead by a goal. It was probably the first time the night that you feel they deserve to lead. Mount playing it in. Horse steers this one behind for another corner. And Chelsea really in the mood in this second half. 1-0.
That pepper in the Villa goal. First half, we felt maybe at times it was a bit slow. The final ball was wrong. Second half, the tempo, the intensity, the desire. They've really taken the game to Aston Villa, asking all the questions, taking the lead. Could have been 2, could have been 3.
Ziyech will take this corner. There's the usual crowd scene inside the 6-yard box. 4 from Chelsea in there, 3 from Chelsea in there, 6 from the Villa. Left-footed in-swinging delivery, too close to Steer, who's able to catch it and then come to the edge of his penalty area and punt a screwball upfield. And good defending by Reece James. I know you said that you don't like him in that position because, not that you don't feel that he can play that position, but because of what he loses from his game going forward. But he's looked really solid.
He's been different class. If anything, you feel as though I know it is probably still a back 3, but at times it's been more of a 4 as well. And he's been given more licence in the second half to get further forward as well. It was his cross, of course, that led to the goal from Werner because he was high up the pitch. And that's why I prefer him. I think that's where he's better. But his defensive work tonight, I think, has been outstanding.
And Chelsea will bring it forward again with Werner, and he's taking on Tuanzebe inside the penalty area. Tuanzebe's been able to hold him off and force Werner away, but Chelsea have still got it. It's pulled back from Mount. Mount now to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi back into the feet of Mason Mount, and down it comes for Timo Werner to Reece James. James to Chalobah. And news that Spurs have blown a 2-0 lead at Molineux. It's 2-2 there now. Daniel Podence scoring the equaliser. Leander Dendoncker pulled one back for Wolves late in the half. But it's now 2-2 at Molineux. Now remember, details of all these goals as they go in live for you right now over on TalkSport, whilst Manchester United against West Ham is the commentary game with Andy Townsend alongside Sam Matterface at Old Trafford tonight. And they're talking through all the action here on TalkSport 2. Chelsea leading courtesy of Timo Werner's goal 9 minutes into the second half. Reece James plays it back inside his own penalty area, and Aretha Balaga will get it away. That Tottenham performance, whatever happens from here, will be one of the many things that they'll be reflecting on tonight on the sports bar. Jamie O'Hara and Jonathan Woodgate, Company Spurs Old Boys, talking you through everything that has happened this evening. 03717 223344 is the number. The new number, 03717 223344. You can get your calls in on the sports bar from 10 o'clock tonight.
See, if you look at Chelsea's shape now, Jim, it does look more like a 4. Hudson-Odoi, I think Thomas Tuchel said to him, just play higher up the pitch. Go and force Ashley Young on the back foot. Go and play higher. Reece James is then filtering out to the right-hand side. I think they're switching between a 3 and a 4, really, in and out of possession.
Cam Archer has the ball for the Villa. Over on the far touchline, which is their right, is midway inside the Chelsea half. And now a chance for Chukwuemeka to venture forward. He's caught by Chalobah. Referee plays the advantage. Traore swings across in, and Arifa Balaga took a quick step forward and palmed it down off the head of El Ghazi and gathers at the second attempt. Good goalkeeping by Kepa Arrizabalaga. 1-0 Chelsea lead with half an hour to go.
He hasn't had a lot to do, actually, Kepa, but he's done it well tonight. There's been a real confidence about his display. Very much number 2 now behind Mendy, but tonight I think he's been very good.
Hudson-Odoi tripped over the ball, the Canvas run it back. Referee then has to take evasive action. Villa with a good ball forward towards El Ghazi. It was Chukwuemeka that saw the pass. Hudson-Odoi on the right hand side of midfield, and Nakamba has come back and kicked off Hudson-Odoi and out of play for a throw. The risk of labouring the point. You don't look at Carney Chukwuemeka and think he's a 17-year-old who's only played 5 senior games. Here's Traore with a right-footed effort from the edge of the box. Hangs his head in disappointment after firing a low shot straight down the centre of the goal, which Arifa Balaga could make a comfortable save. But Chukwuemeka has just got something about him.
He has. He looks a real player, doesn't he? For someone so young, he looks so confident, wants the ball all the time. I played with John Joe Shelby, and at a similar age, he was someone who was barking orders, demanding, wanted the ball, confident to do that with senior players, and he looks exactly the same.
James will get it back towards Arifa Balaga. Arifa Balaga gets it towards the edge of the penalty area and then gets it away left-footed. Sal has done well to rise in the midfield and flick it on towards Timo Werner. Timo Werner drilling across through a ball towards Hudson-Odoi, and Mount tried to get out of the way, couldn't. It hit him, and he then did really well to react and get the ball under quick control for Chelsea. Villa are going to make another change. Another one of the promising youngsters coming on in a moment. Young with a lunging challenge on Loftus-Cheek there. Thomas Tuchel didn't like it. Play goes on. Young's hurt himself. Traore, though, has got the ball into and around the edge of the penalty area. Chukwuemeka trying to drag it away from the first challenge. Walked into the second. And Chelsea with Mason Mount, who made that second challenge to get it away. Ziyech is offside. First offside of the night, as the ball was played forward to him. It was very nearly perfect. Villa's change, a straight swap on the wing. Traore coming off. And here's another one of the very impressive fruits of Villa's youth academy, Jaden Philogene-Bidace, who came on in the Premier League game against Newcastle recently as a right winger. He's had a foot injury in recent weeks, which he picked up playing for England's under-20s in a match in Romania. But he's going to come on now for just his 4th appearance for Villa's first team, and he's going to get half an hour or so to catch the eye. Philogene-Bidace for Traore at 1-0 to Chelsea.
Well, you feel as though after the bright start that Chelsea have had to this second half, that Dean Smith had to react. He had to do something just to try and stem the flow, to try and add a bit of impetus into the Aston Villa play, and he has gone back to his bench to do that.
1-0 to Chelsea here, 2-0 to Rangers at home to Livingston. Alfredo Morelos has scored the second. I'll run through all the other scores for you in a moment. No real shots tonight so far. Carney Chukwuemeka in the midfield for Villa after a lovely turn. Right-footed ball in from Cash. Archer! 1-1! What a goal that is! Chukwuemeka starting the move. Cash with a pinpoint delivery. Archer with a flying header into the top left-hand corner. And it's level again at 1 apiece. Archer drew the bow, fired and hit the target.
Well, Chelsea's goal was a thing of beauty. Reece James's cross right on the head of Timo Werner. This was even better. Very, very similar, but even better. Whipped in with real pace from Matty Cash. Archer arriving from the edge of the box. He's made his run. He's got in behind Chalobah, and he has planted a header in off the bar. Terrific header. Chelsea's goal was good. That was even better.
Well, the league's lasted only 10 minutes. And Cameron Archer has his 4th League Cup goal of the season. Hat-trick at Barrow and an equaliser here. That's a moment he will never forget. That is the archetypal bullet header. Brilliant goal. Great delivery from Cash as well. And we've seen 2 really well executed goals, some great crosses from the 2 sides' respective right flanks. And we're back in the position where the most significant moment of the night lies ahead of us. It's 1 apiece between Chelsea and Aston Villa. The first goal that Chelsea have conceded at Stamford Bridge since they were crowned European champions.
Is that the first goal they've conceded from open play this season as well?
It is indeed, because Mo Salah's penalty is the only other goal that they have let in. And that's only the second time their defence has been breached in 7 games. Last goal they conceded in open play to English opposition was to Villa's Bertrand Traoré on the last day of last season. And they went 561 minutes between those 2, so that's knocking 9.5 hours. Here's Buendia now. Philogene Badace on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, good ball. El Ghazi shredded Aretha Balaga. Well, it could have been 2 in 2 minutes.
What a chance that is for El Ghazi. They were patient. There were men over on the right-hand side, but he came back to El Ghazi on the left. Didn't get any power on his shot, and it was straight at the goalkeeper. An easy save in the end for Kepa. But what a couple of minutes for Aston Villa. Made a sub, and it's made the instant impact that Dean Smith would have required. I'll tell you what a moment for Cameron Archer. How good must that feel?
Just 20 years of age, Cameron Archer, and by no means the youngest of Aston Villa's players tonight. El Ghazi. Oh, that's a nice touch by Buendia. Clever little back heel flick. Nakamba. Chukwuemeka. Cash now. Philogene Badace with his hands out, wanting the ball on the right-hand side, and tracks in from that right flank. And Chelsea did concede 1 other goal this season, which was in the Super Cup game against Villarreal. Here's Archer. And Philogene Badace couldn't get hold of it. It was just pulled back to him 15 yards out, slightly off balance on his left foot. And Aretha Balaga dived to his left and made a relatively comfortable save. Can't see Prince William from where we're sat, but I would imagine he was jumping pretty high when Archer scored that goal. 1-1 the scoreline.
Well, he's come to life, Cameron Archer. And a wonderful goal, but even the build-up just then, the little turn to get away from Chalobah again, little drop of the shoulder, little flick round the corner, and he's come alive.
Werner turning it forward, really good marauding run from Chilwell. Left-footed ball in from him, wins the corner after Transev, he blocks it. Chelsea's 6th corner of the night. The Scottish Cup quarter-finals, Scottish League Cup quarter-final, excuse me. St Johnstone, the holders, have only won 1 out of their last 11 games this season, which was Saturday's win at Aberdeen, but they lead through Sean Rooney at Dens Park, Dundee tonight. Dundee 0, St Johnstone 1. Rangers are 2 up at home to Livingston, the other quarter-final taking place north of the border. This one is 1-1. Chelsea take the corner short. Ziyech played to him, another quick 1-2 between him and Mount. Hudson-Odoi chipping it in. Timo Werner peels away to the right-hand side of the area. His first touch didn't take him where he wanted to go, but he can hook it back in. Chalobah knocks it down. Shot on the turn. Mount! Oh, he's put it wide. Looks as though he'd done the hard work. Waltzed through, cleverly tiptoed his way past the challenge and flicked it with the outside of the right boot past Steer. And it crept past the post.
Oh, what imagination from Mason Mount. They did well, Chelsea, to keep it alive. Timo Werner threw it back into the box. It was really tight, congested. Aston Villa had loads of men behind the ball, but Mason Mount, a little drag back to open up the space. Looked like he was going to feint to shoot. Didn't. Dragged it and then toe poked it just the wrong side of the post.
20 minutes to go. Arsenal 1, Wimbledon 0. Brighton 2, Swansea 0. It's a 7:30 kickoff. They're in the last knockings there. Manchester United 0, West Ham 1. Still live for you right now over on TalkSport. Millwall 0, Leicester 1. Wolves 2, Tottenham 2. This one, 1-1. After Cameron Archer equalised Timo Werner's goal, 2 headers in this second half. Both strikers delivering after fantastic deliveries to them. One from Reece James to find Werner, and one from Matty Cash to find Archer. Loftus-Cheek's foul. Buendia pushes both hands in front of his chest to indicate he thought it was a dive. Graham Scott didn't, and his was the opinion that mattered. And then Chukwuemeka has fouled Werner, and Chelsea get another free kick. Taking short for Loftus-Cheek. He can find Mason Mount. Hudson-Odoi in space to his right-hand side. A chance for him to try and run at Ashley Young. Right-footed ball inside the penalty area. Chilwell is taking up some advanced positions now, trying to force Cash back the other way. Couldn't get there inside the penalty area. Philogene Badace is quick and makes 30 yards very briskly up the right-hand touchline for Villa, and then wins the throw. 20 minutes to go, and it's still 1-1.
I'll tell you what, you can hardly take a breath, can you, in this second half? It really has been end-to-end stuff. It's been a fascinating game. First half was the same. Didn't really create too many chances either side. Goalkeepers didn't have a lot to do. Second half they have. Aston Villa have responded and reacted to going a goal behind, and now they really fancy this. Cash. Forward towards Philogene Badace. He's done really well. He's nutmegged Chilwell. Cash has it. And Buendia over the bar. Now, if Aston Villa don't go through, that'll be a moment that they replay in their minds. Cash again, the provider. Buendia's movement was excellent. He dropped off. He found a yard of space. He fired it over the bar. The Chelsea inquest immediate. Aretha Balaga coming out to the edge of the D, and he's having brisk and loud discussion with Ruben Loftus-Cheek about how that situation was allowed to arise. Villa have responded really well to going 1-0 down. They've got back level, and they've had the better chances to score the third goal of the night. Oh, what a chance that was. Brilliant work again from Matty Cash down the right-hand side. Picked out Buendia, 12 yards from goal. He stood still, he was in the space, didn't really need to do too much, except hit the target, and he couldn't do it. You heard a few rings of applause just now. That's for Romelu Lukaku, who's just made his way down to warm up. Maybe he's the man that Thomas Tuchel's going to turn to try and find the winner. 72 minutes on the clock. He's sent out Romelu Lukaku to warm up. Lukaku and Havertz, the primary attacking options on the Chelsea bench. Well, Villa can still call upon Konza, Bakada, Aaron Ramsey or Caleb Chukwuemeka in terms of their outfield substitutes. Sensalo's the substitute goalkeeper. Sarr. Oh, he skimmed it away. It was a loose ball from the back from Chelsea. And Villa will be able to bring it forward here with Philogene Badace. Always showing for it. It's found Archer, who has gone down off the ball. No one anywhere near him. He just stumbled on the edge of the penalty area, went in a great position. And it just almost as if he pulled up. He's okay. He's going to be able to continue, but just couldn't quite make the run that was necessary. Hudson-Odoi now at the other end for Chelsea inside the penalty area. Pulls it back. It's Loftus-Cheek, gets it out from underneath his feet. Ziyech with the toe poke towards goal. Steer saves it, and it's still 1-1. Well, why didn't Loftus-Cheek go for goal himself? 18 yards out. It was laid onto him really nicely for him to hit it first time. It wasn't like Hudson-Odoi smashed it out of him. He had to have a touch. It came to him, rolled ready for him to shoot. Decided against it, tried to play a ball into Ziyech inside the box, who was heavily marked and could only get a little toe poke on it straight to the goalkeeper. Here's Ruben Loftus-Cheek's first Chelsea start tonight since the opening fixture of last season against Brighton. Spent the majority of last season on loan at Fulham. There's Mount playing it forward. Ziyech to Hudson-Odoi on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Back he goes for Ziyech again. Ziyech, left-footed ball clipped in, comes off the thigh of Tuanzebe. An acrobatic attempt from Saul was on target, but of little consequence really. And he goes through to Jed Steer. And we've got 16 minutes to go. 16 minutes for either of these sides to find a way through.
without the need for a penalty shootout. And Chelsea about to do that by bringing on Lukaku.
It's going to be a double change, actually. It looks like Ross Barkley ready to come on as well.
Lukaku and the lesser spotted Ross Barkley in these parts, preparing to be brought on. The ball is out of play, but I think the double change will happen at the next break rather than just now. Barkley's last Chelsea appearance was a year ago tomorrow. He scored against Barnsley. Very quickly became an Aston Villa player on loan on the back of that, and on his debut inspired Villa to a 7-2 win against Liverpool. About to come on against his former club, the club where he had that loan spell last season. Chelsea bringing it forward again, 1-1. They've trying to take the game back towards Villa, mindful of just how good Villa can be on the counter-attack. The Canber's judged to have been fouled. It wasn't how the Chelsea players or fans saw it. It's a Villa free kick, but that will give Chelsea the opportunity to make the change. So Barkley's the first man who's going to be coming on. No, Lukaku's the first man who's going to be coming on. Lukaku for Saul is the change that is being made. Romelu Lukaku's last goal in this competition in the semi-final in 2016, 6 seasons ago for Everton against Manchester City. He has scored in each of his last 6 games against Aston Villa, including 2 here in the league. His first Stamford Bridge goals 11 days ago. Ross Barkley is on as well. And Villa are also going to make a change. Cash is coming off, and Ezri Konsa is coming on for him, Matt.
Well, as far as Chelsea are concerned, it looks like Lukaku's gone straight up top with Werner alongside him. Ross Barkley in the number 10 position, and Mount's just dropped that little bit deeper alongside Loftus-Cheek. Konsa, it looks like it's a like for like, just going to fill in at right back for Matty Cash. Of course, he was the only one that wasn't there. Two wasn't there? Twanzebe, who can't play at the weekend, and Matty Cash, who played at the weekend, started the game. So Matty Cash getting a bit of a rest ahead of the weekend.
So just clarification of those changes. The Chelsea double change, Lukaku and Barkley on for Saul and Ziyech. And it's Konsa for Cash for Villa, and they're going through at the back now.
I was going to say, it is a change of shape. I thought it looked like he was going to go and fill in for Cash at right back, but it does look like a back 3 for Aston Villa.
Ashley Young's got the ball in his hands, takes the throw. Brighton are through to the 4th round. They've won tonight, beating Swansea by 2-0, and a second goal for Arsenal against Wimbledon. Emil Smith-Rowe is the man that has scored that. Arsenal 2 up against Wimbledon, and they're set to make it through to the 4th round as well. Already through from last night: Brentford, Burnley and Leeds, Manchester City, Liverpool and Southampton. 3 championship teams: Preston, Queen's Park Rangers and Stoke, and Sunderland of League One. Not sure who's going through here, but Chelsea will be able to drive forward here with Loftus-Cheek. Hudson-Odoi, Lukaku still with an opportunity to score with his first touch, but Hudson-Odoi couldn't get it into him. It's knocked away. Chelsea have it at the back with Chalobah. Buendia can't dispossess him, and Sarr's going to be able to bring it forward and play it out towards Ben Chilwell. 12 minutes to go, and it's Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1.
First half, Chelsea attacked a lot down the left-hand side and through Chilwell. Second half, they've switched it, haven't they? It looks like Hudson-Odoi's been given licence to get further up the pitch, and he's seen a lot of the ball, and he's driven into the box numerous occasions.
Arsenal 3, Wimbledon 0 now. Eddie Nketiah has added the third. Wimbledon have had a really good spell under Mark Robinson. Such a young team, and a big night for them tonight. They reckon nearly 8,500-9,000 Wimbledon fans who are going to be making the journey across London this evening. But 3-0 to the Gunners at the moment. This one's 1-1 with 11 minutes to go, and Mount will play it forward here for Ben Chilwell for Chelsea. Chilwell back for Ross Barkley, wearing 18 these days. 15 outside the penalty area. He's played it out towards the right hand side. Callum Hudson-Odoi standing it up too deep for Werner. Half headed clear to the edge of the penalty area. Right footed shot from Mason Mount, tipped over the bar. Well, might just have been going over anyway, but Steers got his hands behind it and helped it on its way out for another corner to Chelsea.
Great midfield play from Mason Mount. Recognised that the header wasn't going to get too much distance on it. Recognised where it was going to drop. Came onto it superbly and opened up the space for him to get the shot away. It was straight at the goalkeeper though, straight down his throat.
Mount to take this corner. Even more in the 6-yard box this time. It's an away swinging delivery which Loftus-Cheek attacked, but Aston Villa made first contact. James was given the throw. I'm not sure, that might just have brushed his foot on the way back out of play, but it is a Chelsea throw which will be taken on the right flank, and it's 1-1 with 10 minutes left. What a good cup tie this has been. Hugely enjoyable, for all the fact that there have been 19 changes between the two teams. Both are clearly wanting to win it, and it's been an engaging spectacle. Arifa Balaga plays it out. West Ham 10 minutes or so away from going through at Old Trafford against Manchester United. That's live for you right now over on Talk Sport. And don't forget, coming up this weekend, Chelsea at home to Manchester City, Villa away at Manchester United. They both kick off 12:30 Saturday. We've got them both covered for you here on the Talk Sport Network. The Chelsea game here on Talk Sport, and the Villa game is on Talk Sport 2. Here on Talk Sport 2 tonight, it's 1-1 as the ball is sent deep into the Villa territory, and Lukaku might be able to get the better of Courtney Hawes. He's wrestling with him. Lukaku playing it back at a right footed shot via a deflection. Spins wide for another Chelsea corner. It's well struck there by Ross Barkley, I beg your pardon. Out for another Chelsea corner.
So strong. It's the first time we've really seen Romelu Lukaku. Ball over the top. He was second favourite to get there. Used his body just to muscle Konza out the way.
Corner to be taken from the Chelsea left. Plenty of air underneath. It's one of the worst corners that they've had tonight. It's easily headed away by Hawes, but Hudson-Odoi can pick up the seconds and find Barkley poised to go for goal again. Takes another touch rather than a shot, and then Twanzebe was at close quarters but no foul, and no complaints from Barkley that he had been brought down inside the penalty area. Chelsea recycle it in a much deeper position. 8.5 to go. Penalties on the way, perhaps. Looking increasingly likely. James to Hudson-Odoi, chipped in towards Lukaku. Did he handle that as he controlled it? It's laid it back for Werner, who just tried to feather the ball into Lukaku's path, but he couldn't extricate himself away from the challenge of Twanzebe in order to make the run, and Steer can pick it up.
I think that's the link play that we're talking about, that Thomas Tuchel's looking for from those two. Lukaku and Werner playing close together.
Chelsea have it again inside the penalty area. And the ball is driven in behind Lukaku and too far ahead of Barkley. Werner split the difference between the pair of them. Villa get it away. But Chelsea trying to turn the screw. Werner has gone down injured. Jed Steer has also gone down injured. Werner has gone off the field of play and is feeling his left ankle. Steer is sitting down inside the 6-yard box, and the Chelsea man is going to need some treatment, and Steer's back on his feet. That gives me a chance to remind you of what the scores are elsewhere. Arsenal 3, Wimbledon 0. Lacazette, Smith Rowe and Nketiah. Brighton have beaten Swansea 2-0 with 2 Aaron Connolly goals. It's 1-1 here at Stamford Bridge. Werner and then Archer equalising. Manchester United 0, West Ham 1. An early goal from Lanzini might yet prove to be the winner. Leicester leading at Millwall with Ademola Lookman's first goal for the Foxes. Wolves 2, Spurs 2. Ndombele and Kane for Tottenham. Then Donkran, Podence firing back for Wolves, who've lost 4 in a row at home. A really poor Molineux record for some time now, but they got it back to 2-2. Scottish League Cup quarter-finals. St Johnstone have just doubled their lead in Dundee. They're nearly through. Ali Crawford with that latest goal. Rangers 2 up at home to Livingston with Roof and Morelos, the men on target. Well, Werner's back on his feet. He's not back on the field yet, but Steer's okay, and play does go on for the time being. 11 against 10 in Villa's favour. 1-1 the scoreline with 6.5 minutes of normal time to go before the penalty shootout, if it's necessary. Rhys James lays it back for Chalobah.
Difficult to call the winner right now. I mean, it looks like Chelsea are the ones that are trying to push. Lukaku's come onto the pitch. They're having a bit more of it now, but Villa a constant threat.
Chelsea in possession with Barkley. Barkley turning neatly inside his own half, just working it over the halfway line to Mount. Mount with a great ball through. Lukaku's, he got goal side of Courtney Hawes. He had, but the challenge was clean and fair. That's really good defending from Hawes. Just got there in time before Lukaku could pull the trigger. And Steer very gratefully throws himself on the loose ball. There's no VAR in these League Cup ties. You do have goal line technology, but there's no VAR. The Chelsea fans, I think, thinking that might have been worthy of a second inspection, but Hawes claimed he won it cleanly, and not too many complaints from Lukaku.
No, I think that the reaction of the Chelsea players tells you all you need to know. Lukaku didn't really complain. I thought it was a terrific tackle. That was my first reaction.
Chalobah gets it back for his goalkeeper. Aretha Balaga works it forwards, headed away by Hawes, down towards El Ghazi for Villa, who trying to turn between James and Loftus-Cheek has won a free kick. And those set pieces are good, as we've been mentioning regularly all night. And this is a chance for them as we go into the final 5 minutes. Ashley Young's forward. Buendia stands over it as well. Young spots the ball down, but it is going to be Buendia to take this. There's one man in a wall, or where the wall would be, and that's Ross Barkley. Timo Werner's got his eyes on the short one for El Ghazi. Bent in by Buendia, and it was flighted, but still just a little bit too much on it for the run from Konza towards the far post. And it's beaten everybody and goes out of play for a goal kick, which Aretha Balaga's in a hurry to take. It's 1-1. We're in the 86th minute here on TalkSport 2.
Wasn't the worst ball in, actually, from Buendia. Just needed someone to attack it. So you've got to say that the Aston Villa fans have turned up in their numbers and in good voice as well.
Now that's a foul. It'll be a yellow card for Ashley Young, who has tripped Hudson-Odoi. He caught him with one foot, and when it looks as though he's going to stay on his feet, he tripped him. And Hudson-Odoi, just with a little bit of cramp, Reece James goes across to attend to that. No complaints from Young, as he is shown the yellow card. Second player in the book tonight, Malang Sarr, the Chelsea debutant, was the first. So it's a Chelsea set piece this time, way out on the right-hand touchline, and it's probably as near the halfway line as it is the edge of the penalty area. And still James just stretching off Hudson-Odoi, trying to ease the cramp for him. James has nicked a yard and another couple of feet as well, as he prepares to take this free. He's much nearer the edge of the penalty area now. James, right-footed, bends it in, headed away easily by the Villa back line. Triumvirate of centre-halves standing firm, and then Philogene Bidace on the counter-attack might be able to bring it forward. Very good recovery challenge from Barkley, who'd initially been beaten, and Villa's teenager stays down hurt. No foul though, Chelsea can bring it forward. 3 to go. Now an under-hit pass, and Chukwuemeka has won it back for Villa. And on the right-hand touchline, he almost took it over the line and out for a throw, but he kept it in. Chukwuemeka just waiting for options to make their ways forward. He's held up the ball beautifully, and now Villa will put it deliberately out of play so that Philogene Bidace can receive whatever treatment is necessary.
Yeah, I don't know what the injury is, but my initial reaction is shoulder. I know there's been a heavy landing on his shoulder. Fabulous work from Ross Barton, no question it was a good tackle, but he hit the ground hard and he hasn't been able to get back up. It's worrying.
Yeah, it is very worrying for a player who hasn't had his fair share of luck with injury. And Villa have made all 3 changes as well, so he's not going to be able to be replaced if he can't continue for the final 2 minutes and maybe 5 minutes of stoppage. There have been a few stoppages in this second half. There could easily be 7 minutes of time still to be played here. Leicester are going to go through. They're 2 up at Millwall now. Kelechi Iheanacho has scored his second goal of the season, and it's Millwall 0, Leicester 2. West Ham still with their noses in front at Old Trafford. Brighton are through. Arsenal are going to make it through against Wimbledon. All square at Molineux between Wolves and Spurs. Spurs blowing a 2-0 lead there. And this one, 1-1 after Chelsea led for 10 minutes, but Villa equalised. 2 high-class moves leading to headed goals. One for Timo Werner and one for young Cameron Archer. Philogene Bidace is still down, receiving treatment from the Aston Villa medical staff.
Sat up, and it's not a shoulder. It looks, knee. It looks possibly more like a knee problem.
Well, he's back on his feet, helped up there by Ezra Konsa and by the Villa medical staff. He's just been told by the referee to leave the field, but the fact that he's leaving on the far touchline, the tunnel here is on the near side where we're sitting. The fact that he's leaving on the far touchline is a promising sign for Aston Villa, because it means he's going to be able to continue rather than just coming off on this near touchline for treatment in the dressing room. So Villa will be able to continue with 11, but that was another stoppage that lasted a couple of minutes. Because I think Philogene Bidace didn't want to leave the field there. I think he was hoping he'd be able to continue straight away. Chelsea sportingly returning possession to Villa, who put it out so that their own man could receive the treatment, and Mount sends a long ball through towards Jed Steer, who picks it up, and by the time he's punted it forward upfield, we will just about be in stoppage time. Gavin Ward on the edge of the technical area. How many extra minutes? It's going to be 5 or 6? 5. And we're in them now.
The fourth official has indicated there'll be a minimum of 5 minutes added time.
Big roar from the Chelsea fans, as you can hear. Villa would be happier for it to go to penalties, but I think that they're worthy of the game as a whole. They're certainly worthy of a shot at a penalty shootout. Now James, in holding off Buendia, has hasn't raised his arm to strike his opponent, but I think contact was possibly made with the cheek of Buendia, who went down, making sure the referee realised contact had been made, and it's going to be a free kick which will be taken by Aston Villa. And Mount goes across and protests his teammate's innocence, but James is going to be called over here, with Mount acting as his defence counsel.
Well, Reece James is telling Buendia what he thinks of him. He thinks he's gone to ground too easily. That's my first reaction as well. I mean, there's no intent, no malice from Reece James to catch Buendia. Yes, he did catch him. Referee's now he's going to give a yellow card for back chatting, I think, for Reece James. I think rather than the actual challenge.
Well, he got a red card on England duty last season, you remember, for dissent after the full-time whistle in the game against Denmark, and he's got a yellow card, I agree with you, I think for dissent there rather than for the challenge. But it is a Villa free kick, and a goal from this will surely win it. Ashley Young sending a high spinning ball out towards the far touchline. Hudson-Odoi wins it. Philogene Bidace picks up the loose ball after Hudson-Odoi's header though, and it goes out towards the right hand touchline. Arsenal are through, they've won 3-0. Chelsea can bring it away here, and it's played out towards Timo Werner. It's not going to get there though. Nakamba can, and Steer's got time to take a few hurried steps to his right, stop it going out of play for a corner. Steer then whacks it upfield over Philogene Bidace's head, and it goes out of play for a Chelsea throw.
Well, it's looking more and more likely that we're going to see penalties. Aston Villa, I think, have been excellent tonight. They've really given a good account of themselves, having made 9 changes and a very young bench as well. There's been a lot of industry from them. Chelsea had a very bright start to the second half, deservedly took the lead. Villa have done great to peg them back.
Hudson-Odoi is in possession here for Chelsea. Right-footed ball clicks inside the area. Lukaku going up for it. It's headed over his own bar by Courtney Hawes, and out of play for a Chelsea corner in the 4th minute of stoppage time. Another chance for them to win. Leicester are through, Brighton are through, Arsenal are through. Still playing at Old Trafford. West Ham still lead. In comes this corner, which will be taken from the Chelsea right-hand side by Mason Mount. Runners making runs from deeper positions. It's headed into the ground, and it hit Twanzebe, who knew nothing about it, and it ricocheted almost in slow motion wide of the far post for another corner.
Oh, how close was that to a Chelsea winner? He absolutely knew nothing about it. They won the first head, and it just hit him, and it just arrowed a fraction wide of the far post.
In comes the corner from the left-hand side. Heads going up for it. Headed away. Referee spotted an infringement anyway. Push on Conte. And it's a free kick to Villa inside their own 6-yard box, and they've nearly got it to penalties.
Yeah, I think the ref wants penalties now. I'm not sure what he's seen there. Didn't look like there was a foul inside the box, but he was nearer to it. decided it was a free kick to Aston Villa. Time running out. It looks like we're going to penalties, and the voices you can hear are the Aston Villa ones.
In the 5th minute of stoppage time at Old Trafford, still Manchester United 0, West Ham 1. And the 4th minute of stoppage time here at Stamford Bridge, and it's 1-1 between Chelsea and Aston Villa. Ball play forward, headed away by Twanzebe, goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken over on the far touchline. West Ham have won at Manchester United, and they've knocked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's men out of the League Cup. What a moment that will be for David Moyes back at Old Trafford. That early Lanzini goal, the difference, and West Ham are through, Manchester United are out. This one, 30 seconds to go. Chalobah, square to his right-hand side for James. Loftus-Cheek on the turn, dancing away from Buendia. He's done well, he's found Lukaku. As Loftus-Cheek was fouled, the referee plays the advantage. Hudson-Odoi, right-hand side of the penalty area. One last chance for Chelsea to win it. Back from him to Reece James. Loftus-Cheek back on his feet, back in possession. But he's got Villa players between him and the penalty area, and he's forced to lay it back towards Chalobah. Chalobah to Sarr. The referee put his whistle to his mouth for a moment. Play goes on just for a few more seconds. Reece James to Hudson-Odoi. Down the right-hand side of the area. Mason Mount gets it across. Blocked by Chukwuemeka. Out of play for a corner. There's barely time to take for Chelsea.
Just about time. He's run over Mason Mount, spotted it, and here it comes.
Almost 6 minutes into stoppage time. Mason Mount takes the corner. Right-footed ball inside the penalty area, headed away, and we're going to go to penalties. And Aston Villa deserve it. 1-1 it finishes after 90 minutes. A really entertaining cup tie, particularly in the second half, where there were many more chances on goal. Two really well-taken goals, both so pleasing on the eye. A Timo Werner close-range header after a delicious ball in from Reece James. And then Aston Villa's best move of the game, right-footed ball swept in by Cash after Chukwuemeka had done so well to create the space room in the first place. And Cameron Archer, the 20-year-old, with a bullet header off the underside of the bar into the top left-hand corner. Buendia will rue a really good opportunity to give Villa a 2-1 lead. Neither side could make the most of chances that were created, and Matt, we're going to penalties. So El Ghazi about to go first for the Villa, and the Chelsea fans who are in that stand at that end of the goal, waving their hands, doing everything they can to try and put the Villa penalty takers off here. El Ghazi to go first against Aretha Balaga, bobbing up and down on his line, side by side, claps his hands. El Ghazi's only with 3 pace, run up right foot into the top right-hand corner. That is a fine penalty.
That's an excellent penalty. The mind games from Kepa didn't work. It was a 2 or 3 pace run up, side-footed it high into the back of the net. Excellent penalty, and Romelu Lukaku has got the first penalty for Chelsea.
Lukaku hasn't put a foot wrong yet since coming back to Chelsea. 4 goals in his 5 games for the club before tonight. Unable to add to his impressive goal-scoring record against Aston Villa in the 15 minutes that he got here. What can he do from the penalty spot in this shootout? Tied up at 1-1. It's a stuttering run-up, and a left-footed shot sends Jed Steer the wrong way. Just a little pause as he addressed the ball, and Steer committed himself, and Lukaku, I think, probably changed his mind, but he had the presence of mind to roll it past him the other way after Steer's dive and put it in for 1 apiece.
It's a confident penalty, that from Romelu Lukaku, and straight away he went across to Kepa, gave him a high five, a few words of encouragement.
Ashley Young for Aston Villa, player who has played in the final of this competition back in the day in 2010. Young standing in his yellow boots on the edge of the penalty area, step to his left-hand side and then drives forward and hits the crossbar. So advantage Chelsea. Ashley Young the first to miss. Chelsea will only really have the advantage if Mason Mount can put this one away.
Past experienced Ashley Young went for power, got too much on it, too much elevation, crashing off the bar and away to safety as far as Chelsea are concerned.
So next up, Mason Mount. Steer is on his line, and this to give Chelsea a 2-1 lead after 2 penalties apiece. Stamford Bridge draws breath. Mount, great penalty into the right hand side of the goal, halfway up. Steer again went the wrong way, and it's Chelsea 2, Villa 1.
The whistle went, he took his time, he composed himself, he'd made up his mind exactly where it was going to go. Side-footed to the goalkeeper's left, the goalkeeper dived to his right. An excellent penalty from Mason Mount.
Next up is Marvellous Nakamba. He's never scored a goal for Aston Villa. In fact, he's only scored 3 senior goals in his career. Playing the 200th match of his career tonight. It's Nakamba against Kepa. Save by the Spaniard, diving to his left. High right hand up. Easy save, really poor penalty. Villa have missed 2 of their 3. And Chelsea have scored both of theirs.
Yeah, wasn't looking convincing, was he? Marvellous Nakamba strolled up to the ball. It was quite central. Kepa held up a big right hand, went chasing after the ball. Actually, it had gone a long way. He went chasing after it, absolutely delighted he'd made that save.
So Chelsea to take a 2 penalty lead. Ross Barkley. Steer hasn't sniffed either of the 2 that have been taken yet. And again, goes the wrong way. All 3 of the Chelsea penalties have gone to Steer's left, and he's dived to his right every time. It's 3-1 to Chelsea after 3 penalties apiece.
The law of averages tells you to keep diving right, and eventually one's going to go that way. But again, Ross Barkley waited for him to dive, and he just calmly side-footed it, the opposite corner.
Well, Esri Konsa has to score. Came on as a substitute relatively late in the game to replace Matt Cash. And if Konsa misses this, Chelsea are through. Laritha Balaga going through his routine on the line. Bombing up and down. The Chelsea fans again waving wildly to sow the seeds of doubt in Konsa's mind. Right-footed, really good penalty under pressure into the top right-hand corner. Villa fight on. But if Ben Chilwell scores, Chelsea are through.
2 bites of the cherry now. Chelsea. Chilwell's got the first attempt to go and win it. That was a good penalty from Konsa. He waited a long time after the whistle had blown, but made no mistake, sent Kepa the wrong way. Chilwell now just about spotting the ball.
Ben Chilwell lost in the semi-finals of this competition to Aston Villa a couple of seasons ago. Big moment this, Ben Chilwell to hit it left-footed and send Chelsea through to the last 16, and he has hit the crossbar, just as Ashley Young did. And still, Villa are in there, hanging on and fighting. The pressure is on Emi Buendia, but Chilwell misses for Chelsea, sending Steer the wrong way, but chipping it onto the bar. And it's still 3-2 to Chelsea. Buendia's got to score.
Yeah, it wasn't a great penalty that from Ben Chilwell. Too relaxed, sauntered up to the ball.
Buendia with a 3-pace run up right-footed, and he's put it into the bottom right-hand corner with aplomb. So Villa doing everything they can to stay in this, and Steer will go across to congratulate him and take a word of advice. But it's Reece James who will stride forward to try and win it.
Good penalty from Buendia. This is, for me, Chelsea's man of the match, Reece James. Absolutely outstanding performance from Reece James this evening. He's got the chance to go and win it.
Now welcome to listeners joining us from TalkSport. It's Reece James to take potentially the winning penalty here for Chelsea. It's only a 2-pace run-up. This to give Chelsea a 4-3 win in the shootout. Right-footed into the top left-hand corner. And the volume of Stamford Bridge says it all. Chelsea had got the job done. The European champions through to the last 16 after such a brave effort from Aston Villa. Certainly more than worthy of taking this to extra time or to the penalty shootout tonight. But ultimately, their penalties just weren't good enough. Chelsea put in the first 3 of theirs away with Lukaku, Mount and Barkley all scoring. El Ghazi had put Villa's first one away, but Young hit the bar, and Nakamba, with the worst penalty of the lot in the shootout, saw his effort easily saved. Ben Chilwell with a chance to win it, then hit the bar. Consa scored. Buendia scored. James then held his nerve and gives Chelsea a 4-3 win in the shootout. In terms of the game itself, not too many chances in the first half despite the entertainment. Second half was a great cup tie. Timo Werner making it 2 goals in 2 games in this competition in his career, with an excellent header from a Reece James cross 9 minutes into the second half. 10 minutes later, an even better header. Cameron Archer, a youngster that has scored a hat-trick of Barrow in the last round, throwing himself at a Matt Cash cross to head into the top left-hand corner off the underside of the bar. Buendia missed a glorious opportunity to win it for Aston Villa. They were more than worthy of getting it to the shootout, but ultimately Chelsea got over the line, Matt Holland.
They did. A really enjoyable game, as you quite rightly pointed out. 2 excellent goals in normal time. I think it's quite fitting, really, that for me, Chelsea's best player of the night is the match winner. I thought Reece James was absolutely outstanding. He held his nerve right at the death to win it for Chelsea and send them through to the next round.
So Chelsea through to the last 16 on penalties, along with Tottenham, who got the job done at Molineux against Wolves. But a really entertaining night here. It finished Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1. Chelsea win 4-3 on penalties.